Is the assault rifle of the late 1800s still a viable self-defense rifle today? Welcome back to OG's Danger Show. So welcome back. Hey, I'm out here today at the abandoned cartel runway. I got a new toy recently. I didn't want to do a full review on it because YouTube is chock full of videos on this rifle. But I wanted to kind of introduce you to this rifle, point out some of its cool features, and then more importantly, I wanted to shoot some stuff with a little bit of ammo I have, and I thought you guys might want to come along. It is a Marlin 1895 SBL. Still got the tag on it. Let's get rid of that thing. Got a lever action. It's in 4570, which is a big, slow freight train of a round. Those of you who are married know very well that sometimes when you're making a rifle purchase, you got to explain to the wife why it is you need a new rifle. What niche does it fill? Well, I was explaining to Mrs. OG, we recently bought some property and are building a house up in North Country. And of course I told her that it's got an overrun bear population. There's bears in the bathroom. There's bears on the football field. Bears. There's dancing bears. There's bears everywhere. So of course Mrs. OG didn't buy that for half a second. She's smarter than the average bear. However, Mrs. OG knows I've been wanting this rifle for quite some time. They're very hard to find. She told me, listen, if you find one, go ahead and grab it up. Get it while you can. So I did a couple months ago, I did a little searching around. I found one of these for a screaming deal online. I could not pass it up. And I know Marlin doesn't have the best track record recently. The older Marlins were great. I was raised on a Marlin 39, 22 lever action rifle that I shot hundreds of, not thousands of rounds through as a kid. Got that rifle for Christmas when I was about 7 or 8. Love that rifle. Don't have it anymore. Sure wish I did. Don't ever sell guns, folks. So for that reason, I wanted to go with the nostalgia of the Marlin. I know some people will say Henry's a better rifle. Okay, that's fine. You can have your opinion. I don't yet have an opinion because I haven't shot either one of these extensively. I'm going to try this. I like the looks of this rifle. It's a beautiful gun, and there's a very good chance that this thing's going to be on display in our living room up in the North Country when we get moved. So I wanted it to be a nice looking gun, but I like Marlins, and I just think it's a really good gun. I kind of wanted to go with it for the nostalgia of having a Marlin again. So whether or not their quality control is back on par with the old Marlins, we'll have to see. There's no crooked sights. There's no crooked rails. Some of the problems that were plaguing these rifles in the past. This one appears to be 100%, so we're going to give it a try. I'd like you guys to come along as we shoot some cool stuff. So with me out here today, these rounds are big and slow and heavy. It's a 45 caliber round. It's traveling a little over 2,000 feet per second in most cases, and so it makes a big giant hole. It's not a super fast round. It's not a really long distance cartridge. This is more of a kind of an old-timey round. So I want to show you some of the targets we're going to work with today. Nice heavy-duty targets that should take these, well, I'm curious as to what a 45-70 round is going to do. I've never shot one. I don't even know what kind of recoil it's going to have. So you guys are going to join me here as I get my first taste of 45-70. We've got soft body armor, standard old police issue soft body armor. And underneath I've got a 5-gallon jug of water. We're going to try and blow that thing up. I've got hard body armor. You might have seen recently over on Talflater Mouse the RTS armor video. These are the same kind of plates. These are coated steel plates underneath here. I've got an expired turkey. So let's see what a 45-70 does through a big giant chunk of meat like that. Over here I've got 4 big reams of copy paper. I'm going to tape these up so they don't blow all over creation. But I'm going to see what kind of penetration we can get with the 45-70 through a stack of copy paper. And then of course, I've got an expired brake rotor, super heavy piece of cast iron here. And we're going to see what kind of penetration these rounds will get. So I told you most of what I know about the 4570 when I said hello. The very little bit I do know about the 4570 I've learned from George over on Target Suite. If you're not already a subscriber of Target Suite, folks, I'm going to put a link down here in the description, maybe a picture right up here, George's channel. Go over and check out George. It's like having your favorite uncle out on the farm shooting old-timey rifles. He's an expert with old-timey guns and knows a hell of a lot about lever action rifles. So I followed him, been watching him shoot 4570 for a while out of a Henry and a Marlin. I thought, I gotta get one of those. I was in the comment section of one of George's videos recently and commenting on a 4570 video. I mentioned in the comment section that I was having trouble finding a lot of ammo for this new 4570 rifle that I bought. So one of George's viewers down in the comment section, as I was typing that, he wrote me back and said, "Hey OG, I really like your channel. I'd like to send you some ammo to try out in your 4570. I thought, good Lord, that's crazy in these days when ammo is so tough to find. I already had one box of Hornady Lever Revolution, and Jeff from Paris, Kentucky sent me, let me see if I can grab you what Jeff sent me. He sent me 4 of these Extreme Penetrator rounds. I've always been very curious about what these things will do. Extreme Penetrator with the old Lehigh Penetrator tip on them. I don't know the bullet weight of these. They're not marked. He pulled them out of his own collection, so I really appreciate that because, folks, these aren't cheap. 4570 ammo is not cheap no matter how you look at it. I got most of the stuff I picked up for between $1.50, $2 a round, but still, it's not something you go out and shoot hundreds and hundreds of rounds with your buddies. Jeff from Kentucky also sent me some of this HSM Cowboy Action. Sent me an entire box of this stuff. This is a nice big heavy lead tipped bullet here. Basically your old style 4570 rounds. These are 405 grains, so it's a big old heavy bullet. Look at that thing. It's like the size of a baby's arm or something. I had also picked up already a box of these Hornady Lever Revolution rounds. This is essentially a hollow point that's got the little polymer tip on them. You might be able to see right there in the camera. I'll focus in on it. It's pretty badass looking around. Lever action ammo usually has either a blunt tip or a little polymer tip on it like this. There's a reason behind that. There's a myth, and actually it's more than a myth, that rounds stacked in the tube of a lever action rifle, because the ammo stacks underneath the barrel in a long tube, that the tip of one bullet could actually set off the primer, could actually hit the primer of the bullet in front of it, and actually set that off if the rifle was dropped, let's say, on its nose. So you'll find anything that's got any kind of a point to it in lever action ammo has got some kind of a rubbery tip there so that it can't light those rounds off. All right, so this is just some stuff that I wanted to test out. I'm kind of curious about this round, its penetration, its distance, its accuracy, how it feels in recoil. So you guys are going to come along with me as I introduce myself to the Marlin 1895 SBL 4570. So the question I asked myself is, could a rifle like this be a viable home defense rifle? Maybe not in 4570 caliber. That'd punch a nice door size hole through your wall like the Kool-Aid Man. But you can get lever action rifles. In fact, it's easier to get lever action rifles in 44 Magnum, 357, 30-06, different calibers like that might make for a viable home defense gun. The cool thing about lever action rifles, doesn't matter where you are, California, all the way through to Massachusetts, Connecticut, and some of those very restrictive eastern states, a lever action rifle is going to be legal in all 50 states. There is no threaded muzzle. There's no muzzle device. There is no collapsible stock. There's no pistol grip. And the magazine is a tubular low capacity magazine right here on the front. So it is a 50 state legal rifle that still, even though it was one of the original assault rifles, still makes for a pretty handy and very viable home defense rifle even today. Let's get to shooting. One of the things I'm most interested in is how these rounds will react with soft body armor. We're going to try the 3 different rounds, the Cowboy Action round, the Hornady Ballistic Tip round, and the Extreme Penetrators into soft body armor, standard level 3A police body armor. Let's check it out. I've got the body armor set up hanging on my steel plate. Let's step back, put in a couple of rounds, give it a try. The round that is probably least likely to do anything, this big old 405 grain cowboy load that Jeff from Paris, Kentucky sent over to us. Look at the size of that monster. It's loaded in the side loading gate here. Let's give it a try. I'm going to take a couple of steps back and put a round right there dead center for you. That was rather comfortable to shoot. So I was definitely expecting a little more recoil. Maybe that cowboy round is probably pretty light. Cowboy action shooting is usually done with some rather light rounds. I kind of braced myself for this big old thump like a 12 gauge slug over on Tauflader mouse. Wasn't going to happen. This actually felt pretty dang good. That big old brass shell casing. Holy crap, you could stand that in the corner of your living room and put umbrellas in it. We got one heck of a bulge back here, which happens a lot like with 12 gauge slugs. It completely bulged the vest out in here, so I'm thinking we caught the round, but it definitely pushed that Kevlar out. Let's take a look up underneath. Pull this Kevlar panel out here for you. We should have something to show. Right here in the center, I can feel one huge piece of lead in there. I'm going to cut into this carrier just a little. There, that's a bigger bullet right there. That thing is really in there. For not having a lot of recoil, that cowboy round really is buried in there. Pretty goddamn deep.
3 days later.
Looks like we're coming up to that 45-70 round finally. And let's peel it out. Bloop. There it is. That is a big piece of lead right there. Pretty cool. All right, let's put one of those Hornady Lever Revolution hunting rounds against that vest. The Hornady 250 grain Monoflex. Let's give it a try in the old 1895 SBL. Since we're losing sunlight, what I'm going to do is put the Hornady round and then follow it right up with the Extreme Penetrator round and see how they both do. I think we might actually be able to get through this Kevlar vest with that penetrator round. I'm going to put them both in there and then we'll take the vest apart. All right, this one is the Hornady 250 grain. I'm going to aim a little bit over to the left of the word range. A little bit more recoil than the cowboy loads had. And now one of Jeff's Extreme Penetrators. You can see that big old gnarly tip on there. I really appreciate Jeff sending these over because these things are not cheap. Jeff, thank you very much. We're going to put all 4 of them to good use here today. These things are definitely designed to penetrate bear, hide, skull. You know, get in there nice and deep, boy.
That's it, boy. Get in there nice and deep, lad.
Let's put the penetrator round right up here between Safariland and range. Move my camera back and dial you guys in. All right, Extreme Penetrator, here we go. Oh, that one had a little bit more recoil, and I heard the ring of steel. And you know what the ring of steel means. I think we made it through. Let's take a look. Wow. First of all, look at that damage. That is nuts. Also, let me bring you around here and show you. Look at our steel target. Steel target has a big old ding mark on it. The Extreme Penetrator round went right through that vest, obviously. Hit that steel and made a big splatter. So that's kind of cool. Look at the damage though. When that steel penetrator round hit the steel and blasted all those shards around, it pretty much tore up the carrier of this vest. It tore up, well, this outer carrier. It tore up the little liner in here. Just shredded it. That's pretty cool. Well, I looked around on the ground. I can't find any pieces of the Extreme Penetrator round, and I can't find any additional parts of the Monoflex round. So let's hang some rifle plated steel on there and shoot those up. I'm going to shoot all 3 rounds at the exact same time, and then we'll peel off the carrier and take a look at the steel. I don't think even the Extreme Penetrator is going to make it through these level AR 500 steel plates. Let's hang that on there. We got a good steel plate underneath there. Let's give it a try, all 3 rounds. Since we got a few of them, courtesy of Jeff in Kentucky, I'm going to load in quite a few of these cowboy rounds and fire them as rapid fire as I can. If you haven't already seen Wind River, definitely check it out. Features this rifle, whether or not you like Jeremy Renner. Awesome movie. All right, let's give it a try. With that loading port, if I go empty or if I just want to top off my rifle in the middle of using the rifle, I don't have to take it apart, take out a big tube, put my hand up in front of a loaded muzzle. I can load it in right here and keep that rifle topped off a lot like I do a shotgun at work. There it is, Hornady Lever Revolution Monoflex against AR-500 steel. We're not getting through that stuff. And one of Jeff's extreme penetrators against AR-500 rifle steel. Will it make it through? You be the judge. Super tough carrier. There's a little pad in here. It's been shredded. Uh-oh, not a good sign. Woo! Here is the Spartan Armor rifle plate, and I can already see a little tiny piece of brass extreme penetrator round that's still hot. The Spartan Armor took all of our cowboy rounds just fine. Of course, there's a little tiny bit of bulging here on the back. Just a little bit of bulging you can feel on there, but of course nothing made it through that. It delaminated the rubber coating on this armor. There's my piece of Spartan Armor rubber coating, spall coating or splatter coating, whatever you want to call that. So the cowboy rounds did nothing. The Lever Revolution round over here on the side left a little bit of a copper colored jacket splash. You can see right there. Jacket splash. That sounds cool. Up here, this is the extreme penetrator. Look at that thing. Splash mark around that. And you might be able to see it here if I turn this into the shadows. There is a very slight little dent right there. Of course, it did not make it through, but it is the only thing that dented this AR-500 plate. While I got you guys here for a second, let me get a huge shout out to the Patreon members. Last video I put up an announcement that I finally have a Patreon account. Unlike some creators, I'm not dead in the water if I don't raise any money. I appreciate all the help you guys can give. If you can't give anything, guess what? The videos are still going to be coming. I'm not one of those guys who's going to tell you that it all dries up if I don't get any donations. However, I do appreciate the donations that have already come in. I've got 15 donors already off of one video. I appreciate you guys a whole lot. I'm going to run all of my Patreon donors down here at the bottom. I really appreciate you guys. If you choose to donate to the OG's Danger Show, find me over on Patreon. Link in the description right here. And thank you very much for your support. When I get a little more organized, I will be able to put up some videos and exclusive content just for Patreon members. I can barely get out a regular video nowadays, let alone a second video. I do have a lot of things to give away, and I'll be sending those out to some random Patreon members as I collect that stuff. So thank you guys very much for your support. I don't know if you guys can see, but this paper is jam resistant. It says right there. So there's no way this rifle is going to jam with this paper. All right, let's try it right here. Cowboy round, Lever Revolution round, Hornady round, and we'll try one of the extreme penetrators there on the right. First, our cowboy round. Whoa! And as the sun goes down, I'm also able to see quite a flash coming out of this muzzle. Our cowboy rounds are a little more to the center than I wanted. Let's put the Hornady round down here, and we'll put the extreme up there on the top. Hornady on the brown tape down below. Whoa! Extreme penetrator, maybe right up about here. Woo! That one's got a good flash. I'm going to cut these guys apart. Whoa! Appears to me that extreme penetrator round made it all the way through. One package of paper, two packages of paper, 3 packages of paper. That was the extreme penetrator round right there. The other ones didn't make it. It looks like, however, that we probably captured it somewhere in this paper. Oh, I think I see it. It's over here on page 75 of this book. This is a book for idiots because it's got no words in it. Look at that. There it is. Still warm, not exactly blazing hot, but nice big heavy brass slug there. Let's focus in on that thing there. Look at that. That thing's in just about perfect condition. The nose is a little beat up from digging through all that paper, but that thing is perfectly cylindrical. Look at those gas checks on there, flat bottom round. That's what you want right there. This thing digging into a bear. Pretty cool. Let's dig out those other 2. It looks like this was our Hornady round down here. So it looks like it went through, this is the 3rd ream of paper here. Hi, look at that. There it is. This thing's even hotter than that brass round. Again, flat bottom. You can see the rifling there on the side of the round. Smashed up the nose. Typical hollow point, when it hits something like paper, it tends to clog up the nose and does not expand and mushroom out into this big giant mushroom. But penetration on that was nuts. 3 reams of paper. Pretty cool. You can see right through, there's a big giant hole in there. All 3 rounds at this expired, no longer fresh brake rotor. See if we can't get some splatter over there. I'm going to put all 3 rounds on here somewhere. We'll go in the same order: Cowboy, Hornady, and Extreme Penetrator. See if they do anything to this cast iron. There it is, the Cowboy round. Let's give it a try against the cast iron brake rotor. Cowboy round on the right side. Let's go on the far right side of the brake rotor. Good grief. We shot that brake rotor and it's busted right through and hit our little Caldwell sandbag. So I'm going to go over and pick it up for you guys. I'll show you. The Hornady lever revolution on the left side of the 9 o'clock side of that circle, and we'll do the Extreme Penetrator on the right. Woo! Again, I hit the thin part, the inside part. I evidently can't hit crap today. We are going to make sure that we put the Extreme Penetrator on one of the thick edges here. Okay, the Extreme Penetrator. We hit nice and deep in there. It did not make it through. I don't know if you can tell, but it cracked. It cracked this cast iron across here and in here, but it did not make it all the way through. We've got a big, nice brass colored mush hole there, and we'll assume that most of the garbage from the round is deep inside that hole. All right, I don't know about you guys, but this is the one I've been waiting for. The inside of this turkey is probably still a little frozen. Ew, turkey juice. Someone ought to freeze that and make a popsicle. All right, the Cowboy round first. Wow, straight through. Nice big entrance hole. Decent sized exit hole, but not a whole lot of mushing in there. Let's give it a try with the lever revolution. That one was quite a bit more significant. Nice big torn hole right there. Look at that exit wound. That is gnarly. Went in nice and clean, tore up a lot of meat on its way out, so that thing definitely expanded in soft tissue like it's supposed to. We have one last target before the sun goes down because we need to wash off our table. There it is, the Primo 5-gallon jug of water. Cowboy round at the top of the jug first. Oh! Wow, cut that thing off nice and clean. Look at that. Like a big giant cup. But that hydrostatic shock just ripped that thing right on that seam. That's crazy. Cool thing is we still got a little bit of water. Let's put a Hornady lever revolution down here. Well, that's gone. We don't have much of the jug left after the Hornady. Let me set you down here and show you. You can kind of see where the round entered. Down low here. This was our Cowboy round entering up high and ripping off the top. This is our Hornady round entering down low. Just tore this heavy gauge plastic. And also, looks like both rounds exited out the back. All right, folks, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. As you can tell behind me, in the west, the sun is gone. I'm out here in near complete darkness. Fortunately, my camera is still picking up a little bit of detail. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me tonight for this test of the Marlin 1895 SBL in 4570. I think it's a pretty cool rifle. It's done some amazing work out here today as far as penetration and some knockdown power. It's destroyed some cool stuff. I've got a lot of cleanup to do now, so while you guys click on to the next video, I'm gonna start cleaning up my range and throw all this stuff in my truck. If you have not already done so, please hit the sub button down below, subscribe to this channel. I would appreciate it very much. Also, if you haven't done so, it really helps us if you hit this little thumbs up button for the like. If we like this video and it gets more and more likes, it actually gets pushed around YouTube a little bit more and spread to a broader audience. So I would appreciate your help in that. If you are able to do so, your support over on Patreon would be great. I have a link here in the description to my Patreon account. I really appreciate your help. It keeps me from having to go to Mrs. OG and tell her I got to use checking account money to go buy some stuff and blow it up. So thanks for watching. You guys be safe out there, and I will see you on the next video. OG out.